Hello, I'm Brent Farris from the Brent Studios, and in this part of How Not to Draw Anime, I'm going to be going over perspective. Perspective. So, in a quick overview, we're going to do 4 points of perspective, or up to 4 points of perspective. 3 point and 1 and 2 point are the most common, so let's start with 1 point perspective. So 1 point perspective means you have 1 point, and it has lines going absolutely everywhere, like a sphincter you can think of. I did not just say that. But anyways, if I want to draw a horizon, it would just be horizontal. If I want to draw verticals, it would be vertical. So if I want to draw, say, a wall here, I would make a vertical line, and I would move it out in the direction of this point, and the same thing at the top, would move it out to that point, and I would do another vertical, do another vertical line. There we go. So now I have that. And with horizontals, we do the same exact thing. It is just straight horizontal. So if I were to make a side of this building, it would be just straight horizontal like that. And then I can draw a door. It will be straight vertical. It will be coming from the point to the top of the door to make its angle for the building. And then another vertical for just this line is probably a little too much. There we go. And then make top of the door there. Let's just make some little thingy, stepping stones or something coming out from the door. Yay, stepping stones. And some grass. So you can see here that this is 1 point perspective. I have 1 point that is determining absolutely everything, and the other side of this vertical line would look exactly like this if I were to draw something. It would also use vertical and horizontal lines to make its perspective. So that's 1 point perspective. Let's move on to 2 point perspective. 2 point perspective means that you have 2 points. You would often use a ruler or some kind of thing. I'll use shift in this case for drawing in Photoshop. You have 2 points, and here's the horizon line. So this is a horizon, thus horizontal. From these points, you would draw, oh my goodness, you would draw points coming out into space. I don't know if you could see those very well. Let me switch my brush out to a line brush so that you can see these points. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3. You can see that I'm just making points coming out from them, and the same thing from the other side. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. So what will we do now with these? Let me swap back to my drawing brush. Now we will draw, let's say, a building from the corner here. So these two intersect there. I'm going to draw a vertical line. Verticals are still vertical inside of 2 point perspective. So it says it meets there. Let's draw another vertical line here to finish off this box. Another one approximately on the same distance from this one here. So now you can see, if I gently erase some of these lines here, that I have a box in 2 points perspective, which then I can add, let's say I add a window. I can take this line here and let's add a window. Now notice that anything slightly horizontal follows these guidelines. So you can see that the top and bottom of this follow the guidelines to this point, and the same thing to the other side. If I were to make a window over there, it would follow the top and bottom guidelines to that point over there. So if I were to make a door here on this side, it would follow to this point on the right. If I were to make a door over here, it would follow to that point on the left. probably a little much, but it's just to show the case. And then I will, let's draw out. If I draw something out from this side, it comes from the left point. So let's sketch out a line going from the left point over there. If I draw it on the left side, it's coming from this point over here. So let's draw out a line over there. And let's make a little divot. Let's make it come out this way. Let's make it go back that way. Come up with a little divot. There we go. We got a little building on a some kind of inside of some kind of box. So with that, let us move to 3-point perspective. So 3-point perspective is 2-point perspective with a new introduction to a point up here or a point down at the bottom. It's one or the other. So I'm going to draw a second one. I'll try to keep this quick. One on the bottom. So let's. I'm not going to draw precise. I'm just going to draw some lines out here, some guidelines, and draw the same kind of box that I had on the other one. So I have a third set of lines up here coming from the top down. So this top one or bottom one controls the vertical. So if I'm drawing verticals, they need to be at that angle. They are no longer vertical up and down. They are at the angle of this point. So now it looks like we're looking up at some kind of building. So now if I draw a window, the vertical lines abide by this point up here. And let's draw a window. Let's draw a window over here. No, not that much. And it abides by this line, so it would come out like this. So if I were to draw that on this other one, let me just draw some perspective lines. I would be looking to the bottom up. So if I were to draw let's say I was drawing a box here, goes to this point over here. Now I would be drawing the bottom up, so if I were to do this way, it looks like it's leaning and looming over me. So this will get pretty high because I gotta abide by this point over here, and I gotta abide by this point over here. So now we have this building. It looks like it's looming over us. If I draw some windows, it'll make a little more sense. So here's a window. Let's draw a line. It's gotta go down to that point down there. Now if I draw another window over here going to that point, and these lines gotta head towards the vanishing point. Sorry, I should have pointed that out. It's called a vanishing point. Should have pointed that out a little sooner. So if I were to draw from here, it would be like that, a little more like that. So you can see that it starts to get a little wonky. At 3 points, you get this looming over or looking up at, looking down at. I can have it's like me standing up here, looking down into a infinite darkness that this thing is looming over. And that brings us to our final 4-point perspective. This one is a little goofy. This is when things get really fisheye. So I like to draw this up and down in this arc. Let's draw an arc, kind of like an onion, because this is the shape that our things that are vertical are going to be. And so let's bring out our lines to make a building. So let's make a building whose point meets right here. We have a perfect line for it. Let's make it go out to there, that out to there. You can see that this line wraps up and then goes that way. And we have a line that can, say it goes up that way, and a line that goes back that way. Now let's draw our little bubblish rounded body here. So now we have a building, but we're seeing it through a fisheye. It's kind of popping out because of the 4-point perspective. So if I were to draw a window, it would actually have an arch to follow. Same thing if I drew a big window here. It's a challenge. If I drew a big window, it would follow the arch. So there you go. That's a lesson on, let's go back to it, 1-point perspective, 1 point coming out. 2-point perspective, we have 2 points, horizon, and vanishing. We continue to the vanishing point on just the horizon. Verticals stay the same. Oh, by the way, 1 point, verticals and horizontals stay the same. I don't even know what to call it, this angle goes towards the vanishing point. 3-point perspective, where we have 3 vanishing points. The verticals go to the top or bottom vanishing point. Horizontals go to the 2 side vanishing points. We have another 3-point vanishing point coming from the bottom. And we have a 4-point perspective with vanishing points in the top, bottom, left, and right. And you get this bubble-ish shape going up and down, this fisheye. So I hope you liked it, and I hope it helps out.